Thanks for that story, Mark. With Georgia, Florida, and Alabama's water dispute still a hot item, many farmers are trying to do their part to conserve water. In this report, the Monitor's Ryan Naquin takes us to Grady County in South Georgia, where one nursery operation is irrigating plants using a technique to make sure that not a drop of water is wasted. Ryan?
As Jerry Lee looks over more than 800 acres of nursery farm, he remembers starting here as a worker. Then in 1991, he became an owner. But in 2001, he sold the farm, and now he's back to being a worker. And he knows how long it took this operation to get where it is today.
This actual facility you're looking at began as white nurseries back in 1887.
But what started as white nurseries is now Monrovia nurseries. And the plots after plots you see here are a part of an operation that delivers to 48 states in Canada.
We grow over 2,000 varieties of plants destined for retail garden centers. We don't do chain store business. You'll see, as you've seen riding around, all of our containers are branded so the end consumer knows where our plants come from.
As you can imagine, carrying and watering for this many plants on any given day would pile up anyone's water bill. But on a nursery any size, it's especially large. Watering a nursery takes much more water than with row crops. Row crops use about 12 to 15 inches of water per year per acre, while a nursery acre requires 79 inches of water per year. However, the irrigation techniques used here in Cairo, Georgia, are envied by most.
The bed plants you see here behind me are irrigated, and sometimes every day. The water is then moved down these waterways and recycled back into the system.
I tell some people this is the same water we were using in 1887. We also use well water, and that's also captured in various reservoirs. We pull no water out of any streams in the area. We capture merely the water that falls on the property in a series of storage reservoirs.
Monrovia injects 75 parts per million of nitrogen into the irrigation water as fertilizers before it's placed on the plants, which leaves the water unsafe for human consumption.
We know as time goes on, as populations increase, as all these pressures increase on the resource, that water quality is going to be right up there in importance with water quantity.
So to improve the water quality, Lee came up with the idea of creating 2 constructed wetlands on the operation. The water is pumped into these wetlands that naturally remove the nitrogen from the water.
They take what is called nitrate nitrogen and actually take the oxygen off of it, turning the nitrogen into gas, which is the major component of our atmosphere.
Water that goes into the wetlands looks like this, and 3 days later comes out looking like this. It's so clean, in fact, that drinking water has about 10 parts per million of nitrogen, and this water is less than 1 part per million.
It never goes through the wetland unless I don't have storage for it on site somewhere.
And like the water that has been cleaned and recycled, same goes for the former worker, once owner, who's now back to worker, who started a dream of making sure this nursery was just doing its part. For the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm Ryan Naquin.
Good story, Ryan.